friends, welcome back to my channel. And for today's vlog, I'm thinking just, spend some time with you talking about 2020, some of the things that's been going on while I ink this piece that I've drawn. I hope you have seen it. I literally just drawn it up, and as soon as I could get this ink open, this is the Dr. P.H. Martin Bombay India ink. I'm using the Sargent Art 250 GSM watercolor paper here. And gosh, oops, oh yay, look at that mess. Good thing I had tissue out, and good thing I put a guard down on my it was just so tight and it just spilled. Good thing I had this guard down on my other piece, because there's another picture underneath there. OMG, it's oh, and just to knock me off my socks, I am wearing a white sweater right now because the weather is a little chilly. Oh well, the cost of art. Just let me clean it up a little bit. Precious paint. Let me clean up a little bit here, and I am doing this in real time, so the mess is real. But yeah, I just want to make sure I don't have any extra paint on me. See, good thing I made sure, because I don't want, when I have on this white sweater, I do a huge paint smudge on it, because it ain't gonna be pretty with black spots. And it wasn't even open. I don't know where the extra ink came from, because I just opened it. I thought it was from around here. Probably seeped up from underneath the stuff here. Anywho, get some more tissue. Thank goodness. See, I have another paint here, but I put on a guard because I was fearful that I might smudge it when I am trying to do my line art. So I put the guard down. Good thing I did that first. And look at my hands. Oh well. The cost of art. I always look at these YouTube videos of artists and their hands are always messy. You don't do art with your hands staying clean. So I just put a couple drops in that little container there and put this away. I just wanted to make sure that I don't have any more ink splashes anywhere else. Accidentally step in it. My dip pen that I'm using is actually from Speedball. And what I like about this little setup is that it's only the exact nib that goes into the ink, and that's it. So I don't have to gauge it. As soon as I put my ink in and I feel that stop, I know it's covered completely with ink. So let me start. I think this is their student nibs that I'm using. I just enjoy using dip pens as of late. For me, I think that I have stopped using liner pens. I do have liner pens. I mean, don't get me wrong, I have liner pens. But there's just something about the dip pen that I enjoy. And I don't even mind the constant dipping. So yeah, I don't think this is going to take that long for me to do here. So I don't think I have to speed it up, because it's just a very small art. I mean, there's not a lot of lines in this. Just have to be careful. For the most part, the sketchbook that I did, where Get to Know Your OC, that is almost, I would say 90% of it was done with a dip pen. So I do use the dip pen a lot, and I just love it. And for me, it's so economical, because I don't have to throw away pens, it's like, it's just the ink that I really need to get. But it's not like when you use a disposable liner pen, when that's finished, you gotta throw away the pen. And I know there's some pens out there that are refillable, like fountain pens. I mean, some people use some refillable fountain pens, and that's really cool too. But I don't have the ink for those pens because it's not advisable that you use the India ink into fountain pens. And right now, all I have is India ink. I really don't want us to go more than 30 minutes. Yeah, just here. And it's kind of relaxing just talking to you guys while I'm doing this. Really, it is. It's so relaxing. Maybe it goes back to my days when I used to be a teacher at the university. I could talk and work at the same time. And before I became a teacher at the university, I used to do volunteer teaching. So I'm kind of used to working and instructing at the same time. I just want to thicken my lines here because I don't want to press too far down. Okay, it's my dog. He was barking just now. I think the neighbors are coming home and he just wants them to know that he sees them coming home. This dog doesn't normally bark a lot, but when he barks it's because something is seriously going on. Yeah. 2020. What a year has 2020 been? I mean, yeah, when I was doing my nursing education, I read about pandemics because it's actually a part of your education. You have to read about these things. But I never thought for the life of me I would live through one or live to see one. It is so surreal. And the other thing is, and yeah, like I was saying, the strange thing is I had an opportunity. Excuse me. I am so sorry about that. I think someone just came to visit my husband. And they're really kicking up dust. They don't like strangers. Yeah, I was talking about the pandemic and they were alerting us that there's somebody that we know is downstairs. Yeah, as I was saying, it's kind of surreal because I had the opportunity to work in the COVID unit a couple times, and just watching persons who are infected with COVID just basically fight for breathing. Is not something you want to see. I mean, it's literally they're actually fighting to catch their breaths, and that is just so surreal. And then the whole process. I mean, there is a process before you go into COVID unit. You know how you just basically have to gear up, literally gear up like you're going to war. You have to put on these the hazmat suit, because I did have on the hazmat. The 2 times I went over, the way it is set up at my hospital, you have a section for persons who come with the flu. So if you come with flu-like symptoms, you're automatically sent to what we call the flu clinic. And there, they basically take proper precautions and everything, and they test you. You know, they do the swab, they do the PCR to check if you're COVID positive or not. And the results, they do a rapid test and then they also do the PCR test. The rapid test usually takes like 20 minutes, but the PCR takes a little longer. So while they're in that intermittent period where they're trying to wait for the results, and you still have a very progressive symptom, let's say you come with flu-like symptoms that mimics a pneumonia, and so you still require hospitalization until your PCR results come back. You will stay in that flu clinic area. So it is set up for you to stay there for an overnight or a couple days. After which, when your PCR results come back, let's say it is positive for COVID, you'll be taken over to the COVID unit. And in the COVID unit, now you have to where I say gear up, I mean, you literally have to put on your hazmat suits, you have to put on your goggles, your mask, your shield, your cap. In some cases, you have to put on your booties because some of the hazmat suits doesn't come with the boot attachment. So you have to put on your little booties and stuff like that. Now, and when I went over to assist the flu clinic twice, I actually went into the COVID unit. So it was actually the COVID unit I was sent into because they needed assistance more there. And it's in there, you know. The only thing about that hazmat suit my only complaint about that hazmat suit is the goggles and the shield. I mean, it's so difficult, guys, to see through those things. I mean, literally, it gets all fogged up. And for me, who has terrible nasal allergies, whenever I'm in there, I don't become a nose breather. I'm a mouth breather. So basically, I'm in the hazmat suit. And because the goggles and everything else, the facial mask and all that, the face mask and all that, I feel that I can't breathe through my nostrils. So I'm basically mouth breathing. So it was just terrible on my experience. But that's just it. Hats off to those people who goes into that unit because it is surreal. But yeah, it's just kind of, it's horrifying. I mean, I am a nurse. I've been a nurse for almost 15 years. I do see people fighting for breath, but you can imagine an entire ward where there's people like that. You will see people with the pneumonias and the bronchiolitis and people with the, the pleural effusion and the pulmonary embolism and all these. You will see this, but it's not like it literally surrounds you. That's the surreal part about it. My most scariest experience when I was in a COVID unit was when I was tending to a person and I was trying to give them intravenous medication. And I don't know, it was just a blessing from above where his intravenous line became blocked. And I'm trying to do citation, canalize a vein, and because I can't see through the hazmat suit because it's all foggy because I'm mouth breathing and all that, I literally couldn't see. And it's not that the man, it was a man. It's not like he didn't have, you can see his veins on top. If you're a medical person out there, you understand what I'm talking about. I like to say somebody with amazing veins is actually nurses porn because you can actually see the veins on top. You can feel it. But I just couldn't canalize for the life of me. And not to toot my own horn, but I am pretty good at canalizing a vein. But I could feel it, but I just couldn't get it. So it was just, and I tried like 5 times, which I rarely do 5 attempts in canalizing a vein. I usually, the most I'll ever do is maybe 3. Because if I can't get a vein after 2 tries, I usually ask another nurse. But I was the nurse in the unit, and I actually tried 5 times, and I couldn't get it. Which was just, like I said, it's a surreal experience. Okay, just a little insight into my little career that I have. The other thing I want to talk about here is New Year's resolution. I always make New Year's resolution. I think it's like a thing because my earliest memory New Year's resolution was when I'm home. I didn't know if I shared this with you, but my mom has passed away. And every year we used to do New Year's resolutions. And so I just continued doing it, that I do a New Year's resolution every year. And this year, my husband is just going to be so proud of me. My New Year's resolution is I am not ordering any more art supplies. I'm not. I looked around my little art room here and I'm seeing that I have basically everything when it comes to art I will ever want. Everything I'm ever curious about I have. And even if it's something new that they bring out, let's say they bring out a new set. Let's say Daniel Smith decides to invest in a gouache line. I'm okay with it. because I learned that even though I like working with gouache, it's not something I really like, because the hemi gouache I'm working with, I'm fine with. So it's not like, oh, I have to go and get Daniel Smith gouache. No, I'm okay with that. I'm okay with what I have. So I'm basically satisfied. So I'm okay. And so for 2021, I will not be ordering any more art supplies. And then my husband's gonna like that, because he's like, oh, you shop way too much. But no, I'm not gonna order anymore. I think I'm done. I'm gonna just, and that includes paper, because what I'm doing now is I'm actually ordering the paper on the roll, because I know in 2021 I'm not going to be ordering any more art supplies, that I'm actually buying papers on rolls so that I can make my sketchbook or have paper when I need it. That way I don't have to go out and buy extra papers. The only exception to that rule, now guys, come on, I'm a girl. The only exception to that rule is that if maybe Scrawler Box or Palatal Packs or one of the art subscription box brings out a subscription box that I'm curious in, and you know me guys, I usually buy past boxes anyway, I might invest in it, but for the most part I'm not ordering anything else. Now that's the rule. Do not order no new art supplies. But what I'm finding out is that my country, at least the art supply stores in my country, I think they're getting the hint that there's Belizeans or people living in the country of Belize who like art and like doing art, and there's money to be made in investing in the art industry. So now I'm seeing that at my local art supply stores, they're bringing in a lot of art supplies, especially the student grade supplies. They're really investing heavily in that. I mean, like, I'm not sure if I probably already did it. I'm sure. I hope by the time this vlog goes up, I already featured the Sargent Art watercolor crayons. I mean, Sargent Art watercolor crayons. Then Sargent Art I also found Sargent Art brush pens with real brush bristles, like the Ohuhu brush pens. Yeah, I was like, oh, that's really cool. And then the other day I was at my local art and stationery supply store, and they had Sargent Art watercolor tubes. I was like, that's really amazing. And the paper that I'm using is actually Sargent Art watercolor paper, and it's really good paper. I mean, this paper can take a licking and keeps on taking. I mean, I have been doing artwork on both sides of this paper, and it's just really doing an amazing job. So I was like, yeah, this is really nice. I'm just trying to put some just trying to make sure, put some stuff in here. Yeah, my allergies been acting up big time. I think every country is right now dealing with their second wave of COVID, because we are dealing with it, and it's just wreaking havoc right now. I mean, our death by COVID has gone up substantially. I think every country is dealing with their ones. I'm actually doing these pieces, just a little note, this is actually a preview, because I will not be coloring these pieces. I don't think I'll be coloring them for 2020. I'm thinking these will be saved to do maybe color with me sessions, or maybe I'll use them to do review work for supplies and stuff that I have. Just as you can see, I'm finished. I mean, yeah, I enjoy using this. This is a dream for me. I'm just looking over, see if I miss anything, if I want to add anything anywhere. And I don't think so. I'm just going to wait for this to dry, and then I am going to, and you see I didn't even use all my ink. I only use about, maybe about an eighth of the ink I put in this, and this is a small little container, guys. I mean, it's a teeny little container. I think it only holds about maybe half of an ml. if it does hold an ml at all. Probably just half an ml, and I only use about 1/8 of it. So this is one of the reasons why I am no longer using liner pens, because it is so more cost effective to just use a dip pen and ink. But guys, thank you so much for joining me on this little chat. As always, stay safe, stay blessed, and I hope you have a prosperous and happy 2021, and I'll see you in 2021.